So today on the table, once again, I've got the MSI GL65, as you can see from the model number here. And now what I'm going to be attempting in this video, which as you can guess by the title, an attempt to remove the screen in this. So first of all, you're going to want to power it off. Here we go. There we go. Power it off. Cool, we're off. And this is what I would not recommend to do. So typically on most larger bezeled screens, you're able to pry around the trim. This one, the more that I'm prying, the more that it feels like it's stuck down. So I thought I'll give it a bit of a crack with a pry tool. Still no good. So when in doubt, heat it up. So right now, as you can see, rather than prying on top of the screen into the plastic, I'm trying to do the reverse direction I would typically pry on a screen, just because I don't want to risk damaging the good panel. And nails are doing no good either. So let's apply a bit of heat to this first. There we go, so I've now hooked up my heat pad, or at least in the process of. I'm going to stick this at 75 degrees Celsius, and I'm going to leave it for probably around 3 minutes. So I'll jump ahead in the footage. So now that's been sitting there for about 5 minutes in total. The adhesive itself now, or the trim, feels like it's actually lifting. And that's just using my nail rather than needing to pry. So I'll zoom in and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. So as you can see, I can pull that up. Much better. The actual plastic itself, I wouldn't recommend prying or pulling too hard, as I do feel like it will retain a bit of memory of that bend. Similar to what trims you normally see on MacBook Airs, for example, around their screens. So yeah, definitely wouldn't recommend pulling one large section up. Just keep sliding your finger and working your way around. Now the reason why I call this an attempt is because this is where I've stopped. As I got to the bottom of the screen, so there we go, I'm just reapplying the factory adhesive that was there. As I got to the bottom of the screen, where the larger bezel is, I found that I wasn't able to actually pry it up without it pulling into the screen itself. So unless you really need to, I definitely would not recommend pulling this bezel off at the risk of damaging your own display. Granted, if your display is already broken, continue on, keep applying heat, and you should be able to lift it all out without damaging that bezel. So, yeah, one point of recommendation, use heat. I'm highly suspicious that I highly suspect that the display itself is also adhesive to the back panel or back cover, purely because I could not see any signs of screws. So yeah, be prepared to use a lot of heat and a lot of prying. Anyway, this is an attempt on a GL65 to replace the display, which I won't proceed any further with. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.